Well, I just have a question because you issued a BF on my client and you had put on the record last time she was here that she could appear by YouTube or by Zoom.
All right, I'm calling people in order of appearance. That's what I'm saying.
But-
So there are other people who are ahead of me, so I can't address your issue at
But
this
she
point.
has a warrant because of the fault of the court and she's at work and she's panicking because the court on the record on YouTube.
Okay, pause for a second. This is one of those classic courtroom logistics headaches. Imagine being told you can appear by Zoom, but no one will give you the link. Total panic mode. Viewers, here's a quick legal tip. Courts often control virtual access tightly, so even if a judge says you can join remotely, procedural rules and clerk's policies can still block you. Has this ever happened to you in a Zoom meeting gone wrong? Comment bilo?
Said she could appear by Zoom and nobody will give me the Zoom link without the court's permission. So I'm asking the court to please get the Zoom link.
Oh, you can give the Zoom link, but if it turns out that she was supposed to be here and she wasn't, we'll address that issue.
Well,
Who's here on Amanda Drummond? All right, and so that the record can be clear, the court is aware of who can and cannot appear by Zoom and who the court gave permission to appear by Zoom and not by Zoom. So there's no need to come in hot with, you told her she could appear by Zoom. I already know that it's on the docket sheet. The Zoom link changes and it changes every single month. The clerks in the back do not have the Zoom link. Once they come out here, that's when they're given the Zoom link. So where are we on discovery?
well, Judge, may I respond? Because I think
No.
that it is, well,
Where are we on
I
discovery?
think that is.
Where are we on discovery?
I think, Judge, I feel like you don't want to hear the response, but it's important because this happens to people. What happened was I came yesterday, I wanted to get the Zoom link. I actually checked.
I don't give the Zoom link the day before.
Yeah, they checked the docket.
I don't give the Zoom.
They said there was
It
no,
has Zoom reading right there. You see that on the docket? What does it say? Zoom. You know what that means?
but then the
That
court
means
issued a
that
bond
your client,
forfeiture.
I have not issued a bond forfeiture.
On the video.
All right,
it
so
was
here's the
my client.
thing. Where are we on discovery?
Discovery Judge, it's Northeast Methodist Hospital. It was requested. We've looked, when we went up during lunch, we have not received those records from the hospital. So they're not in our possession, at this point.
So when will you have those? Because we've been waiting
It was
for a while.
Sorry to interrupt. They were supposed to be here. I think the subpoena has mentioned September 25th. If I'm incorrect. I don't know, but they were supposed to be
You're
here.
correct, because it's on the docket sheet.
Okay, and we don't have them. So they're not in the state's possession at this point. And when we were during the lunch break, I had the discussion with my investigator to hunt those down, and we're probably gonna have to request them again. I just don't know why that they have not responded.
All right, so what I have is the outstanding medical discovery, and it's your client's discovery. Miss Malik, if you can start your video, please.
She's been trying to juggle a bunch of stuff. She's been on and off since she got the Zoom, so.
Do
want
you
me-
have her, this is your client, correct?
It is.
Okay, could you unmute for me, please? All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
What I have is outstanding medical records of your client and the state was to upload. Is there different medical records that we're looking for?
Judge, what we're looking for is there was an emergency detention on the
Mhm.
day that my client got taken into custody. So they are trying to get the police / you probably hospital / court document / all of that should be in those medical records. So we're trying to get those.
All right, so do y'all know maybe if, usually those records, if she was taken into custody and then had the emergency detention, sometimes the sheriff's office may have them in their records potentially. And when I say the sheriff's office, I mean their health department, their infirmary. So they may have it.
Right, sometimes university has the beginning ones, and I think that's what we're trying to look for.
I guess, I mean, they're actually, I mean, I was unaware of I might have been before of its discussions, but I'm not remembering independently. But the only thing that I've seen that we requested is Northeast Methodist Hospital records. But if they took her into custody or emergency detention, there should be a report. So
Yes.
I don't know if that report's in the file or not, but
The police report's in the file, and I know just you have a million cases and that this one is, I know you know a little of it, but it's in the police report that's what happened, and that's why we're trying to get that.
So do y'all think they may have it at the Sheriffs?
It could, I mean, if it says it in the police report,
Now this is where the legal puzzle gets juicy. They're chasing down multiple layers of records: hospital, police,
emergency detention judge, that might be what they used. And then any type of document, like the page, whatever that they fill out when they take her to the hospital, it would be at the hospital. And I don't know if they.
Mr. Edelman to do that, so,
Okay, that's CPS.
yeah.
All right, and what I can tell you too, if that's the when you say CPS, you mean Child Protective Services? All right, has anybody looked at that? Because sometimes if there's an emergency detention, they will have it in the CPS records as well.
They have a USB. I don't have the full copy of that. They probably, I'm guessing, have part of it. And then we're still gonna need, the rest, but yeah, I mean, I think that that's a good starting point.
All right, so this is what I am going to do.
Oh, I don't know if it's uploaded. I saw a NOAD and I saw something else that was uploaded in the NOAD.
All right, so we're gonna recall this back on November 21st to see where we're at by discovery.
Okay.
And so if you all can look in once you get the CPS records, look in there and see if it's there. And if somebody can check with the jail to see if they have any documentation.
I'm gone that week, Judge,
Mhm.
and so if I can't, I mean, if you're fine with me appearing by Zoom, I can appear by Zoom. I mean, but I'll be out of state. I have a wedding on the 22nd. I think that's a Thursday. I have a wedding on the 2nd. So if you could do it either the week before or the week after.
We can bring it up
Thanksgiving.
on the 14th.
Okay, we can try for that. That's perfect.
All right, so we're coming back.
That's great.
Just, I mean, and
That's a good start.
that's why, because I did mark on here and I checked off that we have the CPS records and the emergency detention or medical records. I believe that because this envelope that I just showed to the court and defense counsel, it was not opened.
Okay,
And
so,
so, and I believe it's patient, so I believe we have both.
all right, so then what we'll do then is,
Well,
state, we're gonna reset this to December 2nd and state you need to be prepared to tender an offer on that day.
That's.
All right.
and I'm gonna look at this, Judge, and I'll let you know, because I think if it doesn't have the court stuff and everything, I will let them know, hey, there may be some other, because I think that if it is an ED, there should have been a court order. And if the medical has it, they have it, but I also kind of want to see the court stuff. So I've asked them to see if they can possibly look into that as well.
All right, we'll come back on December 2nd. State at that time, you need to be prepared to tender our offer.
Oh, I did.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hey,
And Miss Malik, where are you at? Are you in Bear County?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so then since December 2nd date, that's the date that the state is going to tender an offer, you'll need to be in court on that day, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Here's the human side of the law. Sanchez wasn't attacking the police. He was processing trauma, alcohol, and bipolar disorder all at once. It's a reminder that legal outcomes aren't just black and white theory about context. This is exactly the type of moment that can sway sentencing debates. Viewers, what would you do if someone close to you was in a similar emotional spiral? Empathy first, or law first?
Texas versus Ramon Sanchez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Andrew Harris, gentlemen.
for the defense?
Brian Kimbrough for Mr. Sanchez.
And you are Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, ma'am.
You entered a plea of guilty on August 12th, and this was recalled for August 27th. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 5 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. There are no applications. The state is taking in consideration 2024 CR 2931. Both parties agreed not to have a PSI. It was reset so that defense could have witnesses present if they wanted to have witnesses present, and for the state to tender to the court for review Mr. Sanchez's criminal history. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
No witnesses, argument, Your Honor. Oh, my client, other than my client, no.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record, please.
Ramon Sanchez, do you?
All right, make sure you keep your voice up so that I can hear you and the court reporter can hear you.
All right. Could I introduce the case a little bit, Your Honor?
Yes.
This, first of all, I want the court to understand that I'm not in any way meaning my remarks to suggest that Mr. Sanchez doesn't accept his responsibility 100% in this case. But there are some aspects that are a little unique. And I wanted to make sure the court understood that. I think they're mitigating. Okay, the main thing is that Mr. Sanchez was at home on the night of this incident. I think he was on his driveway, listening to music. He was going through a problem with his wife, a divorce, possibly some family issues. So his son drove by and fired shots at the house, hitting Mr. Sanchez in the hand. He actually, I believe, fired a whole clip, but he hit Mr. Sanchez. He's the only one that got injured. His wife called the police. So the police came to the scene and investigated. Now, in the course of that investigation, now Mr. Sanchez does not have good impulse control. He got very upset, not at the police, but at his son, essentially, and the whole situation. Number two, he was not taking the medication that he should have been. Of course, that's a common problem. We all know that. But it just sort of added fuel to the fire of his emotional problem. But he did not, he was not attacking the police. He was extremely upset. And I've looked at the video, and I can assure you that he lost control of his emotions. And so he got into essentially a verbal argument with the police over some trivial thing, which then led to a confrontation, which then led to him being detained and handcuffed, at which point he got upset and did not cooperate, as he should have. And an officer suffered a broken little finger as a result. And he understands that it was his doing that caused that. But it was a situation where he wasn't a defendant, you know, in a case that was being investigated. He wasn't being arrested. He was actually a victim of a shooting. And it was that situation that created this case. Now, he has a bad record, no question about it. I mean, he's not applying for probation. I'm just suggesting to the court that a more just or fair sentence, given the circumstances, would be, say, 3 years as opposed to 5. Now, I know Mr. Sanchez would like to address the court himself. Could I call him, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, you've stated your name for the record. If you could restate it again,
Yeah,
please.
my name is Ramon Sanchez.
All right, defense, you may ask your questions.
Thank you. Ramon, is there anything that you'd like the judge to know about what happened that day or that evening?
I mean nothing, no bad towards the cops or anything. It's just I was emotionally going through a divorce at the time.
Mhm.
You know, due to my drug abuse. I stay at my mom's house because I was a provider for dialysis. And
What kind of medication were you on at the time?
I take Naprexa, Letipo, and Depakote, 750, 500 milligrams. I'm diagnosed with bipolar, PTSD, and
Schizophrenia.
schizophrenia. And now that I've been on my medication, I haven't been in trouble. I've been in the county almost 10 months.
Now, at the time, you were on different medication
Yes, I was.
and you weren't taking it
No, I was abusing alcohol.
and abusing alcohol.
Yes.
Okay.
But I would ask the court to see if I could have some kind of help, mental help.
So in sum, Your Honor, we're asking the court to take those aspects of the case into consideration in forming a sentence.
All right, any questions?
Mr. Sanchez, which hand were you shot?
My right hand.
And why were you not taking the medications that were prescribed to
Because
you
I
at the
was
time?
drinking at the time, sir.
So you were able to access those medications, correct?
Yes,
But you chose not to take
I
them,
chose not to.
and you chose to consume alcohol instead.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Could be worse. I had CPS took my kids away from me. I couldn't see them until I needed to join the program, and I decided not to do the drugs and alcohol. And because I had UA, stuff like that. But now I've been on my medication 10 months. I could think better and I know what I want for myself, for my kids, and be there for the last years of my life.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, why was your son shooting at you?
He was upset. Except I had got in an argument with him and told him that I didn't want him around my mom's house if he was going to come asking for money.
All right, I still don't understand how that translates into guns being pulled.
Well, he suffers from his bipolar himself,
So what happened with his case?
It was dismissed. They never followed up with it.
So you're saying he shot at you and the case was dismissed?
Yeah. Well, they never made a case out of it.
And how did this translate to an assault on an officer for you?
Well, at the time when they came, they asked me what was going on. I told them that I was okay. And they still wanted to see my hand. I told them they should call an ambulance instead of cops trying to arrest me. And I started arguing with them. I flipped out on them, man.
Well, you said that they wanted to see your hand
Yes,
because a
I was
call had
bleeding.
come in that
Yeah.
you were shot.
yes.
I don't see how that translates into them wanting to arrest you. When you say they're just there to ask you
Yeah,
what happened to your hand.
I blacked out, man.
I think what happened, Your Honor, was that they were I think he overheard a conversation. According to the police report, he overheard a conversation between the police and I think his son. I think they were talking to his son on the phone. He got upset. He got emotionally upset. Not any rational reason. And it was then when they were detaining him after he got upset that this happened. So it doesn't excuse what happened. It doesn't mean he didn't do it. It doesn't mean he's not guilty. But that was the circumstance. And I don't think there's any question that he was shot. That's a fact.
All right. Is there anything else?
No.
Any other witnesses?
No.
State criminal history? Any objections to the court reviewing the criminal history?
No.
So do you have gang affiliation?
No, ma'am. I'm a ex-member of the Mafia.
Okay.
Choose my family over that prison stuff.
All right. He does have a long criminal history.
He does, no question.
State.
Thank you.
We'll hear argument.
Well, Your Honor, again, my argument is only that in order for this sentence to be correctly reflect these facts, I believe that a lesser sentence would be justified. I think I would urge the court to consider 3 years. He's going to do time, but again, this isn't a situation where he was a possible defendant or a suspect that was resisting arrest. It was not a situation where he was doing something antagonistic to the police. He was actually a victim of a shooting, and he was extremely emotionally out of control himself. He had a lot of difficulties. And so in this situation, this injury happened. And I think it's fair that he do prison time for it. But I think a 3-year sentence would be better reflect what happened than a 5-year sentence.
State.
As I understand it, Mr. Sanchez began to use alcohol and stopped using his medication in response to an emotionally difficult moment in his life. And while I have a certain measure of sympathy for him and the pain that he experienced and the desire that he had to no longer experience that pain, nevertheless, the choice to use alcohol rather than his medication was his choice. his response to the officers was his choice. I think a cap of 5 correctly reflects the circumstances of the offense. Mr. Sanchez is.
Just 1 second. Everyone, can you all whisper? All right, you may continue.
The circumstances of the offense, Mr. Sanchez's response to it, his criminal history, and the fact that it was in part a reflection of the choices that he made up to and including those moments.
All right. There's going to be a $2,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. I'm going to ask for the therapeutic community or the mental health unit at the prison. I don't have jurisdiction over that. You'll have to ask for it as well. And maybe they'll put you in the program, maybe they will not. Based upon your history and past affiliations, you say they're past affiliations, they may not accept you. But if you don't ask for it, you definitely will not be placed in it. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the court is taking in consideration 2024 CR 2931. And the court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison. All right. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal with your attorney?
Yeah.
Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. I want you to know that your attorney put forth good arguments for you.
Yes.
I have to weigh certain things, right? I do have to consider your criminal history. He'll tell you I've been a defense attorney before, and I always think when you're calling on people as repeaters and habituals, if they wouldn't have that, maybe there would be a different plea bargain agreement with regards to this case. But those are things I have to take in consideration, and also taking in consideration the circumstances surrounding this. But your history, you have a violent history, then you have this. Then it's you not being on your medications when you're supposed to be on your medications. So I want you to know your attorney did have great arguments. I think the offer was a fair offer for you. When you're released, make sure you stay on your medications. When you're released, if you can't find a place to go, if I'm still here, I will